what up? Oh. Why is this not on? Hello? 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 Can you hear me?
A little bit. I mean, I can hear myself.
Yeah. What's going on, man? I feel like I can't hear myself.
Oh, I can hear you better now.
Okay. Well, I'm trying. This is the Big E Comedy Venture podcast.
It is a little low, but it's fine.
Yeah, I'm trying a different theme song. Amy and I were talking last week, and it seemed like it got to the point now. Enough people seem to kind of. I put a post out there, just saying I really wanted to thank people because we'd had our most downloads in a 24-hour period,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of was like we both talked a little bit and it was like it might be time to actually have a song or something that's not just talking about me.
Yeah, and as you can see, you again picked one that was very relatable to the both of us. So,
Well, I mean,
now what was that called? I was half expecting it to be
it's
something I at least knew.
no, it's literally I went through a bunch of stuff online, and it's a punk rock royalty free song.
Gotcha.
Off YouTube.
Okay.
So
okay.
I just looked for music that hypothetically, if someone came out with that's us, I didn't want to use a song.
Yeah.
That somebody had royalties to, even though at this point it's not that big of a concern. So it's just a generic punk rock
Gotcha.
song I found.
I see.
I know there's a listener to TDC that does comedy, Charles Hill, and he does music. I thought about reaching out to him.
Charles, if you're listening,
Yeah.
make us a song.
I don't think he listens to this, but I'm going to message him. That would be funny if I never
He's
messaged.
gonna listen if his song
Right.
is our theme song.
Well, what if I never messaged him and just sat here and and at some point I met him and I'd be like, dude,
Where's our song?
I asked you on the podcast for a song. So I did that for now. It's a placeholder. It's just a generic punk rock song,
Got it.
like I said. And I like punk rock. I looked at a few other types of music, and it was like I don't know. When it comes to royalty-free stuff,
It's limited.
it's tough. I mean, and there's like pop songs, and I don't know. That's what I came up with for now. So this is this week's episode of the Big E Comedy Venture podcast. I did want to say right off the bat, as usual, the Venmo. Man, a few people came through this week and got some like really cool donations, money-wise, but I mean cool, which I really appreciate. Really awesome that people care enough to give some money
for sure.
for this, especially with the trip being over. I know it's a month plus since the trip's been over, but to me, it's still that's a cool moment that people care enough to give some money.
Yeah, that's awesome.
When I'm not driving around.
For sure.
Something I wanted to, a few things just here right off the bat too. So the photography, I'm trying to find ways to obviously make some money in life, that are not our 9-to-5 job. And so I don't know. I think I'm getting kind of okay at pictures. You know what I'm saying?
Well, are you just like using your phone?
Yeah, those are the
okay.
That's just my iPhone.
Yeah.
And I get compliments, and that's nice. So I don't know what to do with it. So what I'm gonna do is on the Big E Comedy page and on my own page, and it's always on my Instagram. Anyone I post on those is on my Instagram. I'm gonna this week place like 7 or 8 out there just as a reminder of these are ones I've taken.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone has any interest in that, maybe it's a way to maybe like still support me in doing something, but getting something back versus just the podcast.
Yep.
No pressure, obviously. I think there's some cool photos, but I don't, there's a lot of somebody, you know her personally or no?
Who?
On Mackinac, who is on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do. I know her.
Why don't you explain that?
She's a photographer that lives on Mackinac Island, and she just posts like the craziest pictures. She posted one the other day I was going to send to you, and I forgot.
Does she live there all the time?
Yeah.
Do you know how long she's been there?
Several years.
Really?
Several years, yeah.
Is she someone you talk to? I
could message her.
We should talk to her at some point.
Yeah.
Does she leave the island ever?
Yeah. Yeah, she does.
I don't know if this will happen, but I just kind of try to keep thinking of other next things to do.
Yeah, you had mentioned going to live on the island.
And that is one of my, I have 3 things in my thought process of what could be quote unquote next.
Yeah.
And one of them would be to be on the island for a whole year.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
I mean, I would get a job.
Yeah.
You know, it would not by any means.
Would you want to get a job that provided you room and board, or
I'd have to.
Okay, so you wouldn't want to like rent a place.
I wouldn't have the money.
Okay,
I mean,
so
yes,
like you could work at like Mission Point or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to rent a place.
Yeah.
It's very expensive on Mackinac Island.
Yeah.
The only thing
I have a client that has a house on Mackinac Island.
serious? Oh my
Yeah,
God,
I
that's
know.
awesome.
I know.
That's crazy.
I know.
I mean, there's only like 5, and I know there's more houses than like there's like 500 permanent residents. I know there's obviously houses for plenty of people that only go up there on
Yeah.
vacations or
Yeah.
whatnot. No, my goal is like to do it for a year.
That
I
would
want
be
to see a
cool.
whole season.
Yeah.
You would have to then, I think how I'd have to do it is start in the spring as like, a regular worker
Yeah.
and you work at a hotel or whatever. And through the year, hopefully you start saying like, hey, what jobs are in the winter?
Yep.
Because there's not a lot.
Yeah.
Because there's only, I think the hotels, it's like 2 hotels.
Yep.
There's just,
I'm sure Mission Point's open all the time.
I don't think it is.
Really?
No, I don't think so. The time I stayed there in the winter, now that was during COVID, but the time I stayed in the winter, there was actually only one. I've looked before and there's like 2 hotels open, 2 restaurants, so there's just, I don't know how I would do the winter. I would hope that if I just like said,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
what's the option
Yeah.
or opportunity, but I'd like to do it.
That would be cool.
The island, I'm so obsessed with Mackinac Island, as you know, even though you got married there.
I did.
Fucking
I love
crazy.
Mackinac. I love Mackinac. I have a work conference there in July, actually.
What's funny about Mackinac Island is awesome, obviously, but like the city it's really not
Yeah.
much there.
No, the city is.
It's unfortunate. I don't know if you know any of this story, but like there's a really rich family that came into Mackinac maybe 10 or 15 years ago. They don't like to talk about it, man. Local people kind of like to try to be weird about it, but they came in and bought up most of the hotels and most of the shops.
Oh, okay.
That's why like downtown there's this little outdoor shopping thing, and now like almost all of them are just the same. Like just paint airbrush t-shirts
right.
and stuff
Yep.
and generic like
Yeah.
for a while it would have Michigan with the Monster M. Now they probably move it to whatever's more popular now. And that's where the city kind of started getting, unfortunately, kind of like a bummer.
Yeah.
Because it just became very stale.
Yeah.
Not like local shops and selling
Right.
whatever. Anyway, that's kind of off the subject, I guess. But the photography, it's on my Instagram. It's on my Facebook. I'm not pressuring. Obviously, don't buy it if you don't want to, but I'll try to make it reasonable. But if you're looking for a way to not just give, money blankly, you can get something back.
There you go.
So there we go. And one other thing, Amy, because someone else reached out to me about this, and they're like, whatever happened to you moving in with your friend?
Oh, yeah.
So I thought I'd clear that up a little bit. What happened is I decided I got back from this trip. I had about $400, this is a little different now, but I had about $400 left. And I felt like there was a lot of momentum from the comedy, doing the podcast with you. And I know it sounds like a whatever, but like was worried if I moved out with my buddy, based on how money's going with my other gig that I do, like it was going to be absolutely week to week. Like you think I'm sitting here, we're going to get into like
Right.
our embarrassing cheapness.
Right.
You think it's like, it would be so bad. And I'm lucky that I have parents that are supportive.
Right.
And what I did is I did sit down though with my dad. I'm like, here's the deal. And so I'm like saving the exact money I would have been paying for rent. So I'm not like just splurging money. Like I'm saying, this is what I would have been paying. And at the end of the summer, it'll give me some little bit of a, nest or
Yeah.
something. Because otherwise I swear.
I would highly recommend not moving out until you have money saved up. It is
Right.
the absolute worst, living
Yeah.
paycheck to paycheck. Don't do it.
No, and it's like.
And it's like you have the seriously, fuck what anybody says. If anyone had the opportunity to live at home for a period of time to save up money, they would fucking do it.
I know. And,
So
being
do
almost 39, it's just, it gets obvious.
But what at this point?
I know.
What difference does
I
it
know.
make?
I thought- I know. I
It's
thought
like
the same thing.
What the hell? If you want to have a fucking night out, go get a hotel.
Right. No, I know. And so for whatever it's worth,
Yeah.
like the plan is still to do this.
Well, thank you for closing
but
that loop.
I just looked at it, and like I said, at least I had the conversation. This is not something I would have done a long time ago. I finally just sat down with my dad. I'm like, here's the deal. I just want to let you know, I'm not just like,
Yeah.
sitting here floating around.
yeah.
I like my Planet Fitness. I told him like my Planet Fitness prescription was in a position that was more towards where my buddy lives. Like it's actually out of the way, and they were both like kind of like, why are you getting it over there? Why aren't
Yeah.
you doing it in Milford? I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And,
Right.
And so it's like it was absolutely like ready to go. And then I just was like, dude, you're gonna be week to week.
Yeah, don't
and you're
do
gonna be
that.
trying to come up this momentum, like I said, of trying to do the comedy class and trying to do
I think it's one thing if you're literally living at home, just being like this total loser freeloader. But I'm sure that your parents, I mean, I know that we have all seen massive growth in you. I'm sure your parents have as well. The fact that you would even sit down with them and say, hey, this is what I'm doing.
Right.
Just an FYI. Like you have a plan, you have direction.
Yeah, and
so
it's
who
gonna-
gives a
and-
fuck if you live with
No,
your
and you know what? I talked to my sister about it too because my sister's quite a important kind of person in my life, and I really value her opinion. And I talked to her about it, and she's like, "No, Eric, I get it. Like like I understand you want to be out, and you're making those steps, but why not wait just a little bit? And like I said, just to give me about $2,000-$3,000 where I can be like, okay, if my car breaks down, I'm
Yeah.
not dead
Exactly.
in the water. So that's what's going on with that. I did also feel like I'd bring up that even though we don't have to talk about it for too long, because I know you got you got kind of somewhere you got to be today. And I have some, I think, funny stories. I watched Moby Dick
Oh,
over the
okay.
time that
So
we,
you watched it.
like the
instead of reading it.
1950s version.
Okay.
Have you, and I know it's the most cliche thing ever, have you ever read a book that you watched something and you liked it better, or you were like, this is good? Because it is so...
It is tough, but I mean, like, I thought that they did a good job with like the Da Vinci Code.
Okay. You
did
read
you-
the Da Vinci Code.
Oh, yeah. And Angels and
Now,
Demons.
did you read it before?
Yeah.
Did you know it was going to be a
No.
movie?
Nope.
You just read them?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I know you don't think I'm a reader. But I
No,
am.
no, it's not that even. It's just that seemed like...
I was super excited when it was going to be a movie because that's one of those ones where it's like I'd like to see this, like
Yeah.
how it's depicted in a movie.
Really? Do you know? I'm trying to think when those came out, but I'm wondering what
Yeah, I
like
don't
what led
know.
you to picking up those books.
Kelly
though?
recommended the Da Vinci Code. To me.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
She actually, she went to the Louvre.
Oh, I saw.
Yeah, and I was
No,
like,
just-
I was like, did you find any clues from the Da Vinci Code?
You know what's funny? I saw she posted pictures, which was
Yeah.
awesome, obviously.
Yeah.
The menu on the plane, incredible.
I know.
But I did notice in the beverages that it didn't have alcohol, which
Oh.
seemed odd to me.
Yeah, I
And,
wonder
like,
if there was.
Unless it just
There
was.
had
and
to have been.
Like you couldn't. So if her sister Kelly,
Yes.
and her husband have these awesome piston tickets.
Yeah.
And that what came with that, they let them fly on the team plane
To Paris.
To Paris.
Because the Pistons played in Paris
Right.
this week.
And they must, like, how can you not have alcohol in that plane?
Oh,
right?
I would.
But like I
Yeah.
went on the thing, I was like milk and juice. I'm like, it didn't say craft beers. It didn't say
That's
like
funny.
mixed drinks.
Yeah, I'll have. She's on the plane home right now. I'm gonna text her
It
and
just
ask her.
seemed crazy to me. But no, so that's interesting. I've not seen. I think I have seen that movie. I don't know if I loved it.
I thought that they did a good job depicting it. But
I liked. You know what? It was a little dark, I think, for me in the end. Like I liked National Treasure better, which is kind of like the G version. I feel like. But
quickly, but really quick, back to the Paris thing. What I've been doing all week is playing mom. I've been
yeah?
watching their
you have
kid.
Natalie. Oh, I probably,
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah. For a week.
Really?
While they've been in
Is she
Paris.
she's in school, right? She's
Yeah,
not-
she's pretty self-sufficient, so she's
How
super
old?
easy. She's 7. But like I had to get her up in the morning
Oh
and
my
take her to
God.
school and get her snacks ready and
Was
pick
it
her up
crazy?
from dance. Yeah, it was. And it's just so funny because like the first day I woke her up 10 minutes early.
Yeah.
She did not forget about it all day long.
Are you
Kelly
serious?
said she talked to her later on and she was like, I'm so tired because Aunt Amy woke me up 10
10
minutes.
minutes. When does a 7-year-old wake up?
So 6:45 is when she wakes
Gotcha.
up and then leaves at 7:35.
And you woke her up at
for school.
6:35.
Yes.
essentially.
Yeah, I did.
Did
yeah.
you know you were awake?
No, because she's told me to set my clock for 6:30, but she wanted me to wake up at 6:30 and her to wake up at 6:45.
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
That's-
That was a big deal in her world. So
That's
yeah,
so
so
funny.
my sister who could care less about sports was on this amazing
Right.
sports trip while I
should've
was
switched.
watching their kid.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
But
she gets to see Paris.
I know. No, it was awesome, and it seems like the Pistons just did a phenomenal job. And like they got a personalized invitation from the ambassador to
Oh
go
my
to her residence for a dinner.
Jesus Christ.
And yeah, she was texting me pictures with the players at
That's
this gala
wild.
that they were at, and
That's
it's
so
just so
crazy.
crazy. Yeah, and then went to the game in Paris.
Yeah. I will say this, and I don't want to get too down the baby route because I've become obsessed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw my little niece
Mm-hmm.
last Saturday, and it was the first time like Lauren and I spent like I just went over there after comedy class, and we were there for her husband had gone. Her husband kind of had a little guys' weekend, so it was nice. Like I went over there on Saturday, my parents went over there on Sunday to kind of help her out
Yeah.
or whatever, and it's so crazy. I literally
She's what, 3 months?
Yes, and
Yeah.
I absolutely never saw it. Like even my sister's like, I just never saw it coming. Loving this fucking thing so much.
That's awesome. This thing.
And like, well, whatever. And but like I put it on a post, but I started holding her finally, and I held her a few different times throughout the night, like randomly, like whatever. And I don't know, how many babies have you held in your life?
Quite a few.
Quite a few. Like to me, I haven't.
I know.
And there's like this worry, not that I don't want to do it even, but like if she starts to fuss a little bit,
Yeah.
like I don't know, I get freaked out.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm doing something wrong.
Right.
What am I? Oh my
Right.
God,
Yep.
this. And my sister's like, no, that's just she'd kind of been sick a little bit. She got that RSV or
Oh,
whatever.
oh, boy.
And so she was a little sick, and she's just been a little more kind of fussy the last few days. I think she's still feeling crappy or whatever. And so she's like, oh, you got to rock her or walk around. And I did that. But like later in the evening at one point, I was holding her on the couch, and me and my sister were talking, and she started kind of fussing a little bit. And it was the first time where I like didn't say anything to Lauren. I just got up and I just started walking around the house a
Yeah.
little bit. I was like, holy, I did it.
That's
Like
awesome.
I just, by the way,
And she grabbed your finger.
And she grabbed
I love that. I love when babies do that.
I wish the picture that we had, I posted a picture of it. It was good. I wish we could have got one like earlier in the evening, because she had one where it was like
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
whole
It's the
absolutely.
best. I love it.
Anyway,
Aw.
so I watched
Uncle E.
I know, right? I'm already telling my sister like I'm ready to babysit whenever you
And
need
are
it.
they on the east side?
I don't know if you technically. I guess
Okay.
that's the east. It's like Washington Township
Oh, okay.
by Shelby.
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
I don't,
so that I would
is
consider that
east side.
yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I watched Moby Dick, and what I got out of watching it was like I was 40 pages in,
Mm-hmm.
and there was no chance I was going to read this book. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, how was the movie?
I actually liked it.
Did you?
I had a person when I posted about it say that they tried and fell asleep, I guess, 3 times.
How long was it?
Like an hour or 2 hours, I think,
Okay.
or something. The only part of it that really sucked was at one point they did like a sermon,
Okay.
because it's about this whaling community,
Yep.
and they all know that, hey, I guess the season's coming, right? They're all going to leave tomorrow, and they show the church with all these dead, past people that have been killed in the sea. But then they like do the sermon, like 10 minutes.
Oh man.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, not like a summarized version
Yes,
of
not
it.
a movie doing a sermon, showing a few highlights.
You're like, check, please.
It was I did fast forward through that because
Oh,
I was
that's
like,
funny.
dude.
Why is this going on for
Yeah.
so long?
And I would say near the end it got a little slow, but basically the message, I guess, is it's like this Captain Ahab is after the white whale, which I didn't even realize in the book when I was reading it. It's not told from Captain Ahab's point of view. I know Captain Ahab. I assumed who I was, like when I was reading like this guy saying, I'm doing this and I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I just assumed that was Captain Ahab. It's just a guy.
Yeah.
And Captain Ahab had at one point gotten, really like his leg taken off and shit from this big white whale. And so he had vengeance on the whale. And they're going out, and he's so much so that he like coordinates where whaling patterns are more than anybody else, right?
Okay.
So they're out there at this point, and it's like there's hundreds of whales, and they're like, we could, be home a month early and fill up our whale allotment or whatever, right? And make more money because we're back home. but he wants to stay out to get this white whale. It becomes a moral thing. Like, that's against religion because vengeance is wrong.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the story.
God,
it's a story that you're not supposed to.
Does he find it?
They get it, and the whale kills him and almost everybody in the boat, except the guy that tells the story.
Gotcha.
So I think the moral is that vengeance is wrong.
Yes.
Anyway,
That is hilarious. That's how it ends.
so that was a follow-up to that. I did something on the car ride over here where I said to myself, try to talk short or slower and try to let you talk more. And I don't think I've done too
That's
well.
okay. Well,
with
you've
that.
been talking about yourself.
I know. I felt like I was doing some things that were like kind of upfront. So I'm going to get into our cheap / expensive items for the weekend
Okay.
or the last week. And I'm going to go first this week because I
Okay.
know you went, I believe you went
Yes,
first last week.
I did.
So I was going to my sister's, and this is where this goes. I was going to my sister's after the thing, and we were going to get food.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know she was going to get it from a certain place. I wasn't quite sure at the time. I thought I was maybe going to go to Qdoba. I decided to go to where she went.
Mm-hmm.
So we had 2 orders at the same place. Like she made an order. I made an order. I didn't check up where I was going to. I didn't think that there was a bunch of these restaurants in the area. So I get there and I'm like, do you have 2 orders for Eric Fady? Because Lauren put it under my name too. And she's like, I have 1. And I'm like, Lauren, you and I'm like, is it this? And she's like, and it was obvious it was my sister's. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, is this address? And it's like, no, that's not. I'm like, oh, damn it. And I'd already, I'd been in the car since like 11.
Oh, man.
I did comedy class. I'm not complaining, but it's just like, I was
Yeah.
ready, man.
Yeah.
Like I'd done comedy class for 3 hours.
Yeah.
It takes another half hour to get there. I'm kind of hungry, but I'm cheap. And this is
You
where
are.
the cheapness comes in. I was like, I asked her, like, can you just make it even though I had it at another restaurant and not charge me? And she said we couldn't do that.
Hey, you can't. You don't know if you don't try.
I know.
You gotta
then
ask.
and then I was like, maybe I'm just going to make an order because I don't want to do it. And I'm like, give me a second. And I stepped out of line. And here's where the ridiculous cheap mark comes in. So I stepped out of line and I found out that the place is 10 minutes away. And I do the gas mileage on it. And it's going to cost me $2, about $2.50 there and back in gas.
Yeah.
And so then, as much as I didn't want to do it, as much as I didn't want to take the time, I'm like, I can't spend $12, because
you had already paid.
Because I already paid.
Gotcha.
So I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna spend 12 and 24 to save, $2.50. And so I started driving there, and even as I was driving there, I was like, so mad at myself that not only had the wrong order, but like, even when you think, okay, if you'd ordered more, that'd be another $12 you're saving it by driving there. But like, I was just $2. You son of a bitch.
I would have.
I was gonna ask you what you would have.
100%. I would have placed my order there and left it at the other place.
I know.
And I would have just. That is 100% what I would have done. There's no question.
I know. And I was just like, I was so mad at myself.
Oh my God, E.
And it's
that
like,
is so funny.
In the end,
what was it that there's so many of them around? Like Aubrey's Pizza or something?
No, it was called like Sliders something.
Oh, like Slider Savvy or Savvy
Yeah,
Sliders
I think that's
or
it.
something?
I think that's it. And it was just like, the time really wasn't a big deal. But I was driving there just going, you just spent $2 extra driving, you son of a bitch. like $2. I didn't even care necessarily as much about the time. So that was my expenditure.
$2.
$2. I keep. Have you noticed this is the second time that I've been mad about $2? Last week I was mad about $2 extra I spent. The Venmo is Eric Fady.
Oh,
and
yes,
Cash App.
exactly. Oh, that's funny.
You said you had one already, right?
Yes, I have 2 that I was deciding between. I think so we had a garage full of stuff that we've built up over the last 6 years. Neither of us park in the garage because there's so much shit in there.
Which is so what's funny? My dad gets really weird about that. Like my dad is super I'm like, Dad, I go on walks in the neighborhood. Do you know how many people don't open their garage?
Yeah.
It's pretty normal.
And it's not attached. So
yeah, that's even different.
Yeah.
Because it is an unattached garage.
Right. So it's actually closer for us to just park in the driveway than it is, But anyway, so we've had so much shit in there, and we're getting our place
Oh, is this
ready
going to be
to
how much
move.
it costs you to? But by the way, I almost said like, dude, where was my call?
I knew you were going to say that.
Like I'll pay, but then I thought to myself, you're probably talking about real stuff. Like it wasn't just like, hey, I'm moving some boxes.
Correct. I mean, it was everything from an old refrigerator
Yeah.
to, beds and like it was
Exactly.
big furniture and just shit like that.
Right.
Bar stools, whatever. And neither of us wanted to take the time to go through
course.
it and put
No one
separate
would.
out like, oh, let's sell some of this stuff and let's put some
yeah.
out by the garbage or whatever.
Yeah.
So we just decided we're going to call 1-800-JUNK.
Right.
They come, you just literally say, this is what I want you to take,
Right.
and they take it. It's based on weight.
Yeah.
Okay. So we filled up, and we had like lawn bags, and they don't pick up lawn bags
Gotcha.
anymore right now. So, like, they take all of
you
that.
mean like the city doesn't, so they do it.
They'll take it.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
So, we filled up 2 trucks
Oh shit.
of stuff. Okay.
I mean, you know what's funny is how satisfying was it though?
Oh, did you see the pictures I sent you in my house?
Yes. Yeah,
Did you
it's
look at
crazy.
them?
Yeah, I did.
Isn't that insane? Does it even look like the same place?
No, it doesn't look like the place I've dog sat at all.
I know. I'm looking at him going, wow, our house actually looks
Maybe we don't
really
need
nice.
to sell it.
I know, right?
It's kind of great.
It was very satisfying to get it all done.
Let me ask you this, because I'm becoming, I know I live at home, I get that, so it makes it easier. But I think even though I wasn't, I'm at the point of minimalism.
Yeah.
I just have this thought, some of it's a green thought, like
Yeah.
environmentally, like I don't want to add to the thing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I could go to Salvation Army and get some stuff. I don't want to add to the pile anymore. But like, do you have a real goal now to like, quote unquote, not let this happen again? Or do you think it will just,
no. I do in terms of like it getting out of control.
Yeah.
I plan to keep things more organized and in
Right.
control in our new house.
along with cooking
but-
those meals?
Exactly. But there is no, I mean, no, I will continue to buy things
Yeah.
and then I'll have to continue to throw things out. But like, I think that most people probably would have like said, oh, I'm going to sell these bar stools or I'm going to,
Yeah.
I did end up selling a couch
I did
for
see that.
$250.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
Did you-
200.
You did sell it in the end?
I did sell it.
Nice.
And
Well, couches are something you can understand.
and it was like nice.
If you get to, I will tell you this, even though if you get to real nitty picky stuff like
Yeah.
bar stools,
Yeah.
I probably would still do it.
Right.
But I wouldn't be like happy about it.
Right.
I wouldn't.
What I should have done is said, I'm going to throw out all this shit away. If you want to sell it, you
Well,
can and keep it.
Here's the reason I wouldn't have taken you up on that at this point. My dad is retired now, and he has taken up buying furniture from Salvation Armies and like
Redoing
them.
it?
But like, I don't know if his plan is to sell them.
Interesting.
And so
Is he good at it?
yeah, he's a handy dude.
Nice.
For sure. Like I've always said this to my friends. My dad, when I was in high school, rebuilt our basement.
Wow.
To like a furnished basement. I don't remember exactly how much help he got, but it was very minimal. Like he might have had some electrician come in, maybe.
Wow.
But like he did like the bathroom.
Wow.
Yes. And I just had no interest in paying attention. It is one of my biggest life regrets.
Yeah.
That I didn't
Man, that
sit
would've
there and
learn.
and learn.
Yeah, that
Something.
is-
Like I took it as like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't want to know this
Right,
shit.
right.
I wish I would have.
For sure.
But my point is when you asked me, like, if I don't know if I would have taken it, I would have taken him, I think, a year ago and been like,
Yeah.
I can make some money.
Yeah.
Now I'd be like, my dad is already.
Right.
Like, I've had to tell my dad, and where is this going? Where are you putting
The
this?
situations are reversed.
Right. I'm like,
You're
where are
like
you-
the dad now.
Where are you going to put this? What is the point of this?
Oh, that's funny. He's going to have a storage unit soon.
I know. I'm hoping.
I'm going to drive to Katie's and there's going to be one of those pods sitting in your
Right.
driveway full of furniture.
I'm hoping where this is going is that he looks to resell some of this
Yeah,
stuff.
I would
That's what I'm
think.
hoping.
I would think that's
And I'll
probably
help
what
him
it
try
is.
to do that if
Yeah.
that's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
And he has had some stuff already that, it looks pretty good, like compared to
Nice.
where it started.
Or maybe he wants to update the stuff you have. You guys
He
have.
actually did update something in my room. I had a dresser that he got me a much nicer one that I've had for the
Nice.
last 20 years or some shit.
Nice.
So yeah, no, it's cool.
So anyway, do you want to guess how much you or you
How
want
much
me to
it
just
costs
say?
to do all this?
Yeah. So they do it by
trucks.
weight. Yeah, 2 trucks.
And it's not by hour or anything. It's just like, this is the weight. I'm curious, Lord.
Or maybe I don't know. I
must
don't
be
think
some
it's
kind of-
weight. It's how much of the truck you use.
Okay.
So like if you just use 3/4 of the truck, they charge you. So we had 2 trucks.
And is there an hour, like something to, or just no? This is how much it. I'm just curious what were the guys like, by the way.
Oh.
Like, how old are we talking?
2 younger black guys, like
Yeah.
super nice, super friendly. And what's funny is like this is actually the second time we've used 1-800-JUNK,
Yeah.
but they get first dibs at all that stuff. So if
Seriously?
they want to keep it,
They can just grab
they
it?
just keep it.
My-
And so like, and they were saying like this lady one time was like, hey, I don't want these AirPods anymore. Do you want these? And like they took AirPods. He kept our he took some like work boots. He took some they took a bunch of shit that like some tools
Yeah.
and stuff from our garage.
I would say my biggest weirdness with this stuff would be I would feel judged the entire time. Like I'm just, like that they're taking like, oh, this is all the stuff is here. Or
Yeah.
you're just sitting there or,
Yeah.
or whatever. I
have gotten over that.
Good for you.
Because my thought is I'm paying for this.
Right.
So I don't have to do anything.
I'm going to guess so whatever, it doesn't matter between the 2 trucks. I'll say $1,500.
You got it.
No joke.
That's how much
Seriously?
it was.
I think
Yes.
that's worth it to me.
Yes.
I think that to me, if I
Well,
had-
I pay for convenience.
yeah. No.
And that was convenient
Well,
as hell.
considering-
They were there for like 30 minutes.
Considering you paid $1,500 for a pair of boots.
That was a
and
splurge.
and
That was a
15
splurge.
But I'm just saying, in the contrast,
You're right. You're right.
you know what? I always tell people I'm cheap for sure because I have to be.
Yeah.
But I always say I'm not one of these people who's not willing to admit what a value is.
Right.
I would say this. I feel like I'm able to say something like, I would pay $800 for this, and they're charging $2,000.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah. Yeah.
$1,500
Yeah.
seems very fair.
Yeah.
For probably the amount of time.
Yeah.
And stuff.
And I
that-
mean, they just fucking you just point at it and they take it.
Yeah.
It's like so nice. And like they literally take everything. Like I said, they were taking lawn bags and stuff.
No, that's
another thing about money that I want to see what you would have done.
right.
I don't think
Did
I
you tip them?
yes, I Venmo'd both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I gave them each $50.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So, I made a bet. Did I tell you about my bet
No.
last week? So,
I don't know if you did.
okay, I had a 4-team parlay on the games.
Oh shit! No, you didn't.
About $100.
100 to win what? I mean, 10,000.
Okay, no. So I bet on the game for the 3 games on Sunday and the Monday game.
Right.
I bet the over on all of them.
Oh, so wow, that's an easy. At least it's easy to know.
Yeah,
what
so
you're
I just
doing.
bet the over, and I bet 100, and if all 4 hit, I was going to win 1,300.
Okay.
Okay, so all 3 hit on Sunday,
Oh my god.
and
Oh
they
my
give
God.
you the ability.
To
cash out.
At what?
So they were letting me cash out at 600.
100%. I would have done it.
Okay, so
No question.
So 90% of the day, I'm like, I'm gonna let it ride.
Yeah.
I am gonna let it ride because what the fuck? I'm gambling, so let's gamble.
Yeah.
An hour before the game,
Right.
I just decided I'm going to take the win and I'm going to cash out.
Yeah.
So I cash out. The over, let me tell you this. The over was 45 and a half.
And
So they had to score. This
Tampa
was
Bay,
in Dallas.
I don't remember what the score is.
So they had to, the over was 45 and a half. They had to score 46.
Gotcha.
The final score ended up 45, and the kicker missed 4 extra
Oh!
points.
That
Eric,
would've sucked.
when
That
I
would've-
tell you,
how happy
when
were you?
I was so, I was like, if I would have woken up this morning and saw that motherfucker missed 4 extra points, which has never happened
Right,
before,
right.
and I would have been on a flight to Dallas to beat his
I'd have been
ass.
so pissed.
Yeah, I know.
I would have been so pissed. I would tell you.
I was so relieved.
The funny thing is when you ask like what I would have done, like I get it. I like gambling too.
Yeah.
I have let stuff ride before
Yeah.
where you're like, but I make such small gambles. Like I was doing this during bowl season where I'd bet like 5 to win 15.
Right.
And on the absolute underdog.
Yeah.
And like at halftime, they'd be like, you can cash out for $9. I'm like, yep, sold. $9. Because I got the rush.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I got the rush.
Yeah.
I felt that little
Yeah.
bit. and
You probably would have cashed out after the first 2 games hit.
That's a good point. How do you know how much they were offering?
Yeah,
after
it was
2?
like, I want to say it was probably like 300 maybe.
I wouldn't have done one. Obvious. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not going to do one.
Yeah.
But after 2, if they were giving me 300,
Yeah.
I probably would.
And the next one was the Cincinnati Baltimore game, and I was really nervous about that one hitting the over, and it did. I was shocked, but when he missed 4 extra points, I was like, for once in my life, I made the right decision.
Yeah, that must have felt so incredible. 1 fucking point.
Yes.
And to be honest with you, I think that like I feel like what I would have felt is even if they got that extra point and you realize you missed out on $500 extra dollars, I guess.
Yeah.
I would have felt like I went into this like unless they crushed it.
Right.
If it was like by a point or 2, honestly, I would still how I am would be like I just went through that game stress-free knowing I made money.
Exactly. Yes.
That's how I would
that
feel.
was the way I looked at it. I was like, I don't want to stay up and stress about this game all night, which I would have done. And seeing him miss those extra points, I would have been, there's not enough weed in the world that would have calmed me
The
down. I would have
level
been
of blood pressure.
Oh, yeah.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the clock here. I know you have to get going at 5:30.
Yeah. 5:40 at the latest.
Okay, I'm trying to think here what I want to do. I really did want to get into this LSU thing.
Yeah,
let's
let's do
do
it.
that. Let's do that. I'll save that. I think I'm going to save this other one for next week.
Okay.
Because it's kind of a green thing. So what I'm about to bring up with you, because the obvious that you are a lady.
I am.
and
A real one.
A good-looking lady at that.
Oh,
Not
thanks,
a ugly person, which it makes it easier to talk about.
Yeah.
So these, especially with the internet, these stories just pop up, by the way, all the time. I mean, right now, if anyone's you're on the internet and you've seen the LSU gymnast who
Yes.
is apparently smoking hot.
Yes.
Which, yeah, she's attractive. But like in the last 2 months, there was the World Cup lady, right?
Yep.
Who she was like,
Yep.
and then there was in the football games, there was the Peach Bowl.
Yep.
Who's this girl? In the Peach Bowl, the college bowl game,
Yep.
there was some young fan, and people were like, "Who is this girl?"
Yeah.
And I guess on the conversation where I go with it is, I do not like this LSU girl. I don't know if she's doing at this point in OnlyFans. I don't know if she's trying to like. I know she's getting followers off the her Instagram. I don't know how she's like if she's parlaying that yet
Yeah.
into money.
Yeah.
And I would never blame her for doing it. I am not a hater of the girls that do it. What I don't understand is why guys get so gaga so fast over girls that you're never going to meet, you're never going to be with,
Yeah.
sexually. Like, I don't understand it.
I think it's always been like that, but it was always mainly celebrities because those were the only people
Right.
you knew, right?
Right.
So it was Pam Anderson or whatever. Like, you're never going to fucking get at Pam Anderson. Why do you give a shit about her?
Yeah.
Now with social media, it's opened
it
up
could be
to
literally a girl at the
regular,
fucking
exactly, regular
Walmart.
girls, and what's interesting though is now in the, because this has always been going on, there's a hot chick that they show at a game or something,
For
and
sure.
Brett Musburger's commenting on it or whatever.
Which, by the way, if I were like a super hot chick,
Yeah.
like I don't know why would this say with Instagram and stuff like that. It would be so worth it to buy a
Yeah.
front row ticket to like
Yeah.
a hockey game where
Yeah.
you're going to be on the glass,
Yeah.
front, courtside
Yep.
at a basketball game, wear your fucking best shit,
Yes.
and it just, dude, it will happen. The
Yeah.
amount of times I see
I
pictures,
know.
especially like hockey, where some chick with big breasts is
It
just
is.
sitting there.
It is almost. I would say it's a quarterly conversation that I have with my friends that I went to college with, in terms of,
Like how so?
if we went to school now,
how
how different our lives would be.
Yeah.
They would be so different. And I don't
Are you
know.
suggesting that? No,
I
I'm
don't
just
know
saying.
necessarily that it would be a good thing, but I can assure you there is no question in my mind that I would have done if I had the internet like I do now.
Yeah.
We had Instagram and Facebook, but it was at its infancy when I was in
Even-
college.
Really? I didn't even know. Not
Yeah.
to be weird. I didn't know. I don't always.
I mean,
know
when
your
I started
timeline.
college, you still needed a college
ID to be on Facebook.
ID to be on Facebook.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I think Instagram started while I was in college,
But
maybe.
when it was so young, I think people didn't even. really
Yeah,
know
I mean,
what
it
was.
wasn't like influencers were not a thing when I was in college.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure. But I can assure you, I would have been on OnlyFans in some fashion.
Yeah.
I would have, because why the fuck not? Would you have the ability to make so
I
much
agree.
money? I'm not even kidding you. I have thought legitimately about selling my feet pictures on
I would.
OnlyFans. I have thought about it so many times. Like, even if you made like $250 a week,
Right.
It's $1,000
So
a
like
month.
I have a
crazy.
friend of a friend on my Facebook recently who's now like very much gone down this route.
Mm-hmm.
Like every post she makes
Yeah.
is just, hey guys. And
See,
she's got
that's
a
the thing.
and she
I
has-
couldn't
Right.
advertise it.
No, no,
It
no.
would have to grow organically.
No,
Yeah.
But I'm just like, she has like she has a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't care personally. I
Yeah.
wouldn't care either. If
Yeah.
I was with a girl, I'd be
Rocky
like,
has said, sell your feet
right,
pics.
fucking do it.
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
But like to me, it's just like she's gone down this route now. Like every post is like, catch me on my Twitch.
Yeah.
Catch me on my OnlyFans.
And that's the thing, like,
and good for her. I just don't understand why.
I
don't really care.
what I think about too is like there's going to become a time where you're older and you're going to have kids likely
Yeah.
and you're going to want a real job and this stuff is going to be out there. It doesn't
Yeah.
go away. That's the thing that I don't think you fully comprehend when you're that age, which I'm thankful that this wasn't around like that because I know I would have made those decisions 100%. But that would greatly affect my ability to get a career and have people take me seriously.
I would say the problem would be is not just like to me like you have tattoos. Like I don't care about the moral
Yeah.
thing or anything.
Yeah.
But it'd more be like if you have so much like say really sexy pictures out
Yeah.
there. Like even if you got the job.
Yep.
You might be at a point where like, dude, 5 of the 50 people I work with
Yes.
know.
Exactly.
Or whatever.
I
Like,
mean,
they know what I look
there's
like.
been a
They-
ton of stories out there of, like teachers
Of
who,
course.
they get fired because they have an OnlyFans and it's like, well, fuck you. I make $100,000 on my OnlyFans. So
So my thing about it is I don't even know.
it is weird though, but I think what's weird is that there are so many creeps out there. There just are.
I guess there
It's
are.
wild.
I don't know if I'm weird that I don't comprehend it, or if I don't know if it's because I just have I don't have I have such bad, luck with girls like that. I don't know if it's an insecurity on my part, but I see this and I was gonna pull pictures of her. I'm not really gonna.
Yeah. No, I looked at her.
She's really attractive.
Yeah, she's cute.
I'm not saying that, but like, I just don't have what do I care?
Yeah.
Just, I mean, for her, fucking do it.
Yeah.
I don't care. So
Yeah.
I don't have
Yeah,
anything. So I don't know where
I
that
think,
opinion
too,
stands.
that,
Like, how many
like-
guys do you think are like that?
A lot.
Do you think there's?
And I think that a lot of it has to do with, and I told you that I wanted to talk about this, but this kind of ties
Yeah,
into
get
it.
You can do that.
I think that the access to porn being so readily available to everybody
right.
sets these standards and expectations for people
Totally.
that are not achievable in the bedroom and in terms of like what you want. So
Yeah.
like you see this chick and you're like, she looks like someone from one of my pornos and I could fuck her, and do the
Right.
shit that I'm watching in my porn.
No.
And so like that I think is creating an atmosphere. And porn obviously has always been around, but you had to go to the store.
Yeah.
You had to
Deal with people looking at you.
you
and-
had
and-
to show an ID. You had to be 18. It wasn't like, or unless you found, dad's
Yeah.
Playboy, you had to be 18. Now, if you have an iPhone, you can pull up Pornhub.
I exactly.
And so
I'm sure
I
anything
want,
you
and
want.
You are an avid porn watcher. We know that.
You know what's funny though? I know this has been talked about on the show before. I watch it out of necessity.
right.
Like when I was dating the one serious girl the only time I've been with a serious girl, I didn't watch any porn during that period. I legitimately don't think like I have an addict problem.
Yeah.
I do probably think it's hard to say though that it hasn't affected me on some level.
Yeah.
I think it'd be.
When did you start watching it, would you say?
I mean, you gotta remember I had the video store.
True.
So I'm a weirdo in the sense that I technically had access to adult videos.
Well, that's
very early.
actually okay. I think that's interesting for one. So how old would you say that you were?
I mean, I remember trying to think of an age, certainly in the 7 range, and I remember like seeing these videos, like sneaking into the room or whatever, or they'd be randomly in the car. For real.
Yeah.
And I remember noticing that I realized I liked them.
Yeah.
But I didn't even I didn't know what to do.
Right.
I didn't know why.
Yeah.
I didn't know when I first
He
started
just did the
fucking jerking
hand-jacking
off.
motion, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, but I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
and I remember that I liked them. So I don't know, like kids these days, I can't even fathom what it would be like. So
Imagine
I would
having
say
like
8 or 9 for sure by then.
And even then, though, it was the porn then, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, was different than what it is today.
Oh, dude,
And,
the stuff I watch-
you have any type of porn that you could possibly want is one
I'm not
click
even
away.
going to show you, but like everything below this is regular stuff I look at. This is all saved scenes that I'm watching.
I would love to go through that. And see
There's
what they are.
54 tabs. I think 49 of them are porn.
Oh my god.
And I mean, dude, there's not even
That's
fucking,
hilarious.
I mean, just a lot of fucking anime shit or not cosplay shit.
That doesn't surprise me.
I know. I like whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that even me, who I don't think is addicted to it,
Yeah.
it must affect me.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
It must. Because and also, you know, it affects there's a lot of, I think, or a good portion of the generation that's coming up today that says, oh, well, I don't need to be in a relationship because I can just get what I want with my hand and
Yeah.
the porn and
I would
do
say,
my own thing.
You know what? I would say that even for me who has I don't want to say the last time I had sex, but it's been a while, and I'm not there, which is
Yeah.
odd to me for
Yeah,
how
yeah,
much
yeah.
how alone I am
Yeah.
most of my life and how much I watch.
Yeah.
I'm not there. I've used it to stop me from making some dumb decisions. Like I have had a few opportunities in the last year to get laid, but
Hey.
they're not really
They're-
good. I'm not
Look
talking
at
about
you,
looks. I'm not talking about looks. I'm talking about like a situation in
Yeah,
life
yeah.
that they're kind of not the right. They'd be bad for me. It really, there's a lot, not, it would just be, it'd just not be a good situation.
Yeah.
Or it's just like they're 2 hours away and it's whatever. Anyway, but like, I don't think I 100%, for me, it isn't at that point.
Yeah.
I would absolutely rather have the real thing, but I think you're right. If you start at 7, I mean, when you said me having it at 7, I was looking at little boxes.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Stuff, and
It's very different.
if you had what I just showed
Right,
you
right,
at
right.
7, where you feel
You're
like
right.
dressing up,
Yeah.
or whatever your
yeah,
fucking
brutal
biggest,
shit.
yeah.
So I think it's a southern state. I want to say it's like Arkansas or
think,
something
'cause I
like
know
that.
you're
But they're introducing a bill where you would have to verify your identity, your age, and in some form of an identification to access sites like Pornhub.
I would say hell yeah.
Yeah. So
100%.
if that happened here in Michigan,
Yeah.
and you had to enter your information,
Right.
would you do it?
Oh, I guess, but now they all. The only problem is, are you going about them this route of now they know?
Yeah.
That
Now your name.
is in a list of guys who signed up to watch porn. I
Yeah.
would.
I don't think that's a strong enough argument to not do it.
No, I would still
Because,
do it.
like, you have to have something covering up the Playboys in the aisle because,
Yeah.
and you have to be 18 to buy it in the store. So, like, why shouldn't you have
This
to be 18 to view it online?
You know what's funny? This is it's not even funny. This is the most serious episode we've ever had for sure. At least this topic.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be that guy, but to bring it back to freaking Kaylee.
Yeah.
But Kaylee, it also changed my thought process in some of this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't stop. I've watched porn since I've hung out with her. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But when I talk about, for example, like a few opportunities I had with some girls that they were not good opportunities. I don't mean.
What
like
do
I
you
said,
mean? Like, were they fat?
No, I don't know how to explain it.
Okay.
Just not good.
Okay.
Not really a good situation. Not
Okay.
like I finally got to this point in the last little bit where I'm like, I've always liked rom-coms. I'm not trying to say I want to live in a fucking, Ryan Reynolds movie, but I think it hit me where it's like, no, dude, you should have something that you at least, someone you like. This idea of just meeting someone to bang them.
You're so
like,
grown and mature.
I don't know. And it's not like because I can't get it's not that even. It's just like I really did
Yeah.
have this moment where I kind of like, you could just at that point, why not just get a prostitute?
Yeah.
If it really is just about getting off,
Right.
why have someone you even mildly know that's a weird situation? Anyway, I don't know. I feel
So you would be in favor of that?
I would definitely say it's something
Yeah.
we should probably have.
Yeah.
I would say myself, I don't think that the idea that I have it that ready. I've tried to recently like not do it all the time.
What does that mean?
I
Like once a day instead of 3 times a day, or
I've
what?
tried not to, like, I used to have a thing where basically anytime I just lay down to take like a nap or something, or I'm watching some TV and I'm like, well, might as well jerk off, I guess. It's like, what am I doing? What am I doing?
Oh, that is really fucking funny.
It's terrible.
Hey, I just want to circle back really quick on the alcohol on the plane.
Yeah.
And there was alcohol available.
There had to be.
Yes.
All right. You have to kind of get going.
Yes, I
here.
do.
Do you have like 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Here's what I want to do to do something. I'm gonna skip over a discussion we're gonna do. I'll save that for next week. But this is a good way to, like, I think I have something that could be kind of funny to end on, a little
right.
lighter note than
Okay. Then
porn and
porn.
masturbating. So I should make this clear. I'm not making fun of these people.
Okay.
But I've played my Specs tapes on here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going down a rabbit hole recently of like college college news stations.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to play for you a sports a guy doing some
no.
sports.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
And it's just here, give me a second. Give me a second.
Okay, I will give you a second. Jesus.
Shit.
That's okay. E is currently moving
Oh, I gotta fucking unmute this thing. Sorry.
and flustering all around. So, where is this from?
It's from a while ago, honestly, and I don't even know what the school was.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? God damn it, I forgot. There's just a few factors to this that I didn't think about because I have to like get over here, but then I'm sorry. Doing all this at once. is
That's
a little
okay.
Computer. Okay, good to go.
Okay. It's a chick too.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
So,
I was gonna say
this girl, it leads into a dude doing sports. I'm gonna fast forward through her, although she has some funny moments.
doozies.
Some funny moments herself. But I'm gonna get to the guy and just see what you think as an avid sports watcher. Amy,
Okay.
if you would see this on
Oh,
Sports
man.
Center. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, that looks good. Especially, he hits on a topic that I would say is rather questionable, I feel like.
Thank you, Emily. Good morning, America. Let's look back at week 1 of the NFL season, starting in Foxborough.
It's
with
just
the
not
defending
as easy as they say,
New England
right?
Patriots. They lost badly. It was sad. The score was 42-27. This was the worst loss in Bill Belichick and Brady's career. They were leading at the end of the first half and blew it. They just nearly
Blew it.
lost how the Falcons lost to them in the Super Bowl. But I think they'll bounce back. But I am skeptical about if they can win back-to-back championships with their defense because it's very skeptical at the moment.
Totally.
Let's quickly fly to
So isn't it? And like, dude, the dude's in college. He's trying to start off. And
But
so,
if you're his teacher, aren't you watching this going, oh boy?
I mean, we've played Specs tapes from me before, and I will say the one thing to give them some leeway.
Man, I should have gone into this.
To give them some leeway, I will say when you're at a school like this,
Yeah.
they're telling you so much shit that, like, it's like when you do a job, like if you're a server, right?
Yeah.
And you have the manager right on your ass, like, oh, we should greet them like this and give them. So they're telling you, like, make sure you enunciate and
Yeah.
and you once you kind of get on
Right,
your
right,
own,
right.
you can let it flow a little more.
Right.
Anyway, this is here. We'll end on this coming up here.
Okay.
to New Orleans with Sean Payton and Drew Brees
How do you think this joke hits?
and Adrian Peterson and company. We see that Adrian Peterson going to New Orleans wasn't a good fit. He should have gone to Tampa or New York with the Giants because his style of play does not fit Sean Payton's offense. Sean Payton runs a pass-first offense, and it worked with Reggie Bush in the backfield, but Adrian Peterson might be Reggie Bush 2.0, and his 1,000-yard seasons may come to an end, and you know where this goes from here. Now let's look at America's
Oh, here
team,
one. Sorry.
the Dallas Cowboys and their star running back, Ezekiel Elliott, who can't keep him hamster himself, just like Greg Hardy, who played the day after beating his wife. Ezekiel Elliott, you are facing domestic.
That's what I wanted to
Wow.
get. Could you imagine? Can I play that one more time and then we'll be done?
The day after beating his wife.
He couldn't keep his hands to himself.
Yard seasons may come to an end, and you know where this goes from here. Now let's look at America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, and their star running back, Ezekiel Elliott, who can't keep him hamster himself, just like Greg Hardy, who played the day after beating his wife. Ezekiel Elliott, you are facing domestic.
Now that one, could you imagine the teacher in that situation? It's like, just like,
Oh man, I wonder what he's up to these days.
I would love to know.
Successful reporter, nude it.
Anyway, all right, Amy. Well, that will do it for this week. I know I'm over here, not in front of your face there, but
Yes.
Hey, everybody. Comedy. By the way, I'm back at Tiki Bar in Walled Lake this Thursday, 7:30. Ridley's 7:30. February 15th, day after Valentine's Day, and February 18th, Tenacity Brewing in Flint. Again, my Instagram with my the photos I take and Venmo, those are all really cool things and we appreciate it. Amy's back on Twitter.
Yes, I am. Still on woke, 17.
All right.
MAGA Barbie.
Sounds good, Amy. All right, we will be back next week. See ya.
Yep.